תגיד, אתה אין לך אף פעם פלאשים מלבנון?
לא, לא, לא ממש.
בכל זאת.
לא.
ביירות, סבא ושתילה?
מה עם סבא ושתילה?
מה עם סבא ושתילה? היית כמה? 100 מטר מהטבח?
200, 300, לא. אגיד לך את האמת, זה לא בסיסטם שלי.
Is it really true that you and the other people you interviewed in the film did not clearly remember what had happened to you in Lebanon until, or what you had seen in Lebanon until you started to talk about it?
Everything in the film is true. It's an autobiographical story. And you have to understand the expression loss of memory. It's not a kind of amnesia thing that you go after a car accident and you go through a brain concussion and then you lose your memory and you don't know what your name is and where you were born. It just, I had really suppressed memories from that period of life because I deliberately chose to forget everything I could.
ונפתח לי הזיכרון מהמלחמה. לא הזיה, לא תת מודע, לא חלום. זה היום הראשון של המלחמה. אני בקושי בן 19, עוד לא התחלתי להתגלח. אנחנו נוסעים על הכביש, מצד אחד פרדסים, מצד שני הים, ואנחנו יורים.
I had the main storyline of my memory, but there were black holes in it. And in the film, I tried to fill those black holes and go back to the people who were with me and try to figure out what happened.
What you captured in the film, do you now believe that that's pretty much the truth about what you observed and what you experienced in Lebanon?
I think, trying to be as honest as I can, that this film represents what happened in the best way I could show it to you.
Talk about how you decided to tell this very strange and unusual story about your memories and other people's memories of what happened in a war that was 25 years ago now, and why you decided to tell it as an animated film.
As a filmmaker, it gave me total freedom to do whatever I like, to go from one dimension to another, to go from real stories to subconscious, to dreams, to hallucinations, to drugs, to fear from death, to anxiety, everything. I could go really easily, play with it in one storyline, and this is what freedom means.
בא אליי קצין בכיר, אומר לי, אתה, קח את כל הפצועים וההרוגים שהיו לנו פה, תעמיס אותם.
Things that this film touches on is one of the key events of the 1982 war in Lebanon, the Sabra and Shatila massacres, in which, if I could correct me if I have any of this wrong, in which Christian militiamen were involved in a massacre of some Palestinian civilians in refugee camps. And there has always been the question of, was the Israeli government responsible in some way because they were the sponsors of the Christian militiamen? Was the Israeli military responsible in some way? But I wondered if you felt that some of the journalists who were asking, why didn't you say this about the Israeli government's responsibility? Why didn't you do that? Were, to some extent, so impassioned that they were missing the point of what you were trying to talk about.
No, I think it's, I can understand the point. You'll be surprised to know that I was, the only criticism I got back home was from very left wing, that I didn't take responsibility as an Israeli in the film for what has happened. And frankly, I didn't feel responsible. No, I was a soldier. We were clueless. We didn't know what was happening until it ended. Then we knew. And, but I think that, of course, government was, I mean, they were found guilty for, not for sending troops in, but for they didn't stop it for 3 days. They could have stopped it. They could have reduced the casualties. They could have done something. They did not. But I didn't feel as a government representative to take the blame for them. I couldn't care less about them, about Ariel Sharon and his government. I mean, I have nothing to do with them. Not then, most of all not now.